Jesus predicts his betrayal and highlights representation. John chapter 13 verses 18 to 30, NKJV. 1. Fulfillment of prophecy, 18:19, CV 18:19. 18. I do not speak concerning all of you. I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled, he who eats bread with me has lifted up his heel against me. 19. Now I tell you before it comes, that when it does come to pass, you may believe that I am he. The betrayal of Judas Iscariot is the fulfillment of Psalm chapter 41 verse 9. Jesus told his disciples about the betrayal in advance so that they might believe that Jesus was the Christ, the Son of God who is to come into the world. 2. Representation and reception, 20, CV 20:20. Most assuredly, I say to you, he who receives whomever I send receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. Despite the betrayal by one of the disciples, Jesus assures them that whoever is sent by Jesus represents him, so that he who receives his representative receives Jesus and he who receives Jesus receives the Father who sent Jesus. 3. Emotional turmoil, 21:22, CV 21:22. 21. When Jesus had said these things, he was troubled in spirit, and testified and said, Most assuredly, I say to you, one of you will betray me. 22. Then the disciples looked at one another, perplexed about whom he spoke. As Jesus said in V 18:19, he told them in advance that one of them would betray him, which would fulfill Psalm chapter 41 verse 9. We note that Jesus was troubled in spirit when he had said V 18:19. This shows he suffered when he was betrayed by a disciple he had taught, trained, trusted and loved. 4. Identification of the betrayer, 23:27a, CV 23:27a. 23. Now there was leaning on Jesus' bosom one of his disciples, whom Jesus loved. 24. Simon Peter therefore motioned to him to ask who it was of whom he spoke. 25. Then, leaning back on Jesus' breast, he said to him, Lord, who is it? 26. Jesus answered, It is he to whom I shall give a piece of bread when I have dipped it. And having dipped the bread, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. 27a. Now after the piece of bread, Satan entered him. V 24:25 shows the disciples didn't know who the betrayer was. In V 26, Jesus showed them who the betrayer was. V 27a shows Satan entered Judas Iscariot. 5. Judas' actions, 27b:30, see V 27b:30. 27b. Then Jesus said to him, What you do, do quickly. 28. But no one at the table knew for what reason he said this to him. 29. For some thought, because Judas had the money box, that Jesus had said to him, Buy those things we need for the feast, or that he should give something to the poor. 30. Having received the piece of bread, he then went out immediately. And it was night. Jesus knew Judas was betraying him. Jesus said to him, What you do, do quickly. 27b. What you do, are the things he does as his betrayal. What he does will harm the well-being of Jesus. But Judas would not care but want to harm him. So, Jesus asked him to do them quickly because Jesus was willing to sacrifice for his sheep. V 28:29 shows no disciple knew why Jesus said this to Judas. The knowledge that the betrayal was happening was with Jesus but not with any of his disciples. How limited we are. After receiving the piece of bread, Judas went out immediately. 30. Do quickly, 27b, might help him go out immediately.